Okay, we are live on mylifestyleshow.tv. I'm just very, very quickly making sure it's gone live externally. So bear with me just for 1 second while I test the page. And it looks like we are internet gone slow-mo just because we're talking.
Working?
No.
Says live on my end. I wonder if my people can see
it. Might be just my internet. My internet has suddenly just gone slow mode, so it may be just that showing is up there. I'm just making sure it was playing. It's funny how your internet always goes slow when you're live. Yeah, we're live. We're right. That's gone through, so I can see myself now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, cool. So we are live. So welcome to mylifestyleshow.tv, guys. It's great to have you here. I have a most amazing speaker here all the way from, it's Pennsylvania, isn't it? So I just want to remind everyone that the mission for the show is purely to provide vision and motivation for mainly successful women entrepreneurs, but I've had a few men say, hang on a second, we want to be inspired as well, to create a change and fast track their success to creating a true lifestyle business full of time and financial freedom. So it's all about finding a passion and what you really want to do with your life and then creating a model around it. So please remember, it's a live interactive show. We encourage your questions. You know, you have the benefit of having one of the most inspirational speakers on here live for an hour. So get your questions in, get anything answered that you really want to find out about while she's here. Because we have the awesome Dr. Shellie Hipsky here. Now, I can't believe it, but she's a professor. The founder of, I should say actually Professor of Robert Morris University. I've been checking all this out. And obviously you're the founder of Inspiring Lives, which was your original television show and your TV show about inspiring women entrepreneurs. And also now the founder of Empowering Women Radio, which is obviously what caught my eye. Sorry, what was that?
I said I got my T-shirt on. Lisa wanted
I was looking at that. I thought it was Empowering Women. It's awesome. What an awesome brand. So I don't remember receiving one in time, you know.
One out to London for you, honey.
Slightly bigger than yours. But about Empowering Women Radio, and that's what caught my eye about Shellie. I was recommended her as a speaker for my show, but the thing I loved about when reading it, it was her show that she's doing now is obviously all about inspiring females to strive to realise their passion and their purpose. And I know it's all part of writing your 6th book. Now I feel really bad because I haven't even started my 1st one, so I need to get moving. Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry, we're on the right track. So, and it's a 6th book called Common Threads. And the thing I love about it is it's bringing together 100 different women entrepreneurs and sharing the common threads throughout their journeys, so that you can basically share what they've learned, what they know, and what creates their success. But the thing I learned about Shellie the other day, which I didn't know, was how much of a performer she is. And Shellie shared with me a very inspiring video, which I'm going to share with my list only later. I decided not to go public with it, but I'm going to share it with my list later. And it was really fascinating because it really showed the power of empowering women and doing what you love and just getting out there and being a female is awesome. But the other thing I really gelled with, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you've done this so successfully in your business, is combining your, obviously, not everyone's an actor or a talent or whatever, but still combining your business with how much you've raised for charity. That's one of my big visions for next year for me, is getting involved with charity. So I'd love, I know it's over 100,000, and it's the homeless children, I believe, in shelters, which is a huge passion of mine, is getting people off the streets. No one should ever be homeless in this day and age. It's crazy. So I look forward to you sharing a little bit about that too. One of my questions that I've got for you is how you combine that with your business, which would be awesome. So Shellie, all the way from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I look forward to you sharing initially a bit about yourself, a bit of your story, and then we'll go into, we are here to talk about empowering women and realising your potential. And we're going to share 3 really key things about how you can do that now and get moving forward. So Shellie, welcome on board. So excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I'm here in my home in Pittsburgh, and you're in the UK. So this is just a wonderful way to make this global sisterhood of empowering women come together through the airwaves. I'm delighted.
Awesome. What technology does now, isn't it? It's just crazy how we can just talk to anyone around the world.
It is. It's been amazing for me in particular with empowering women, just because I've been able to meet these fantastic, dynamic ladies from around the globe. So do you want to know where it all started, or would you like where would you like to start?
Yeah, just a bit, so people can get a little bit of a feel for your background, and I guess how you've kind of ended up a bit where you are now, with obviously your last book and Empowering Women Radio, and why you're doing what you're doing.
Excellent. So the reason that I am here where I am with Empowering Women Radio is because of a journey that I started on, good couple of years ago. I guess you could actually go back to when I got my doctorate in educational leadership, and I was able to travel the world with that and do some amazing things. Like I had the opportunity to speak at the University of Oxford, and I got to do a lot of things with that part of my career. When I was writing this book here, I was writing Mentoring Magic, which was one of my books, Pick the Card for Your Success. I was actually brought onto a radio show, and when I was on the radio show, I was connected with a woman named Clarelle, and Clarelle and I got this amazing bond together. It was instant. It was that first phone call. I call them instant friendships, which seems to happen a lot with women around the world nowadays. But she was sitting there and telling me about her journey, and I was so fascinated by her journey and how there was all these different common threads between her journey and my journey. But then she actually had a brain aneurysm, and she started telling me about that. And when she did, I took my phone, I dropped it, I started typing away like a mad woman, and that from there is where this last book that I wrote, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Planet, was really born. So from there, we went from there to a huge explosion of different entrepreneurial events and experiences and connections with women around the globe. Like you said, Inspiring Lives with Dr. Shellie, and which was my television show that was taped at the NBC studios here. And then there seemed to be so many women that had their stories that needed to be told. And we went from there to Empowering Women Radio. And that has just been such an incredible blessing, because there's been women from South Africa. For instance, the South Africa girls that I work with through Skype. I Skype into their classrooms in South Africa and use my educating side and my vision boarding side. I've helped them learn how to realize their full potential there in South Africa. And there was a woman, Henna, who I absolutely adore, who's in Pakistan, who listened to that radio interview, and she was the one who termed the global sisterhood, and how we're really creating this amazing bond of women around the world that are filling in each other's gaps and helping each other out, whether they're entrepreneurs or they're mothers, or we all have things that we need to learn about ourselves, but we all need to become more self-aware of what we can do to be the best us. And the women, thank you. Thank you if you're watching today. Thank you. Because my life wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for you.
But it's so true too, isn't it? And it's also not even just filling the gaps with ourselves. It's not trying to do everything as well. I think the difference I've found getting, especially around a much more stronger women contribution, is the support in the gaps of your own knowledge, and everyone pulling together to go, well, how can I help you? Because I know this bit, you know that bit, and how do we bring it all together? And that's huge with women entrepreneurs. It's just a different side of it completely.
Absolutely. And, you know, men for years have had, and if you're listening, I know Scott's listening to the webinar.
Yeah, we're not trashing men here. We're not about trashing men. We love men.
It's not men bashing at all. We love men. there's definitely something too, that there's been this old boys network forever, and women haven't really been able to tap into that. But now that we're creating these online communities, these virtual villages, and one woman author termed it the stiletto network. So it's however you look at it, but there are these different communities being created, and it's so fascinating, and it's so exciting to be living in this day and age when we can do this.
Yeah, I mean, I've really noticed it because I left work and I kind of started online from an internet marketing point of view, and it's really interesting because a lot of them are male leaders, and of course I was gelling with it, and I learned all the skill set, and I love it, and it's great, and I love using the internet to leverage and things, but you know, I was missing that kind of, that, I don't know, it is that sense of community, that different feeling that women bring. And the last 4 months since I've been doing this show and getting around more women entrepreneurs, it's a different type of connection. I think we don't come from, I don't know, I think male, especially online, and this is very stereotypical, the online marketers I've been working with for the last year, it's all about dollars, it's all about let's earn, let's earn, let's earn. And the women aren't, it's all about value and give, and it's such a nice environment to be around, it really is. Yeah, so I fell in love with what you were doing straight away. As soon as I read your story, I was like, yes, there's got to be more of this.
Yes, absolutely. And I have found over the years that while we can make our marks with financially and those type of things, to find true abundance, with the meaning of that word, to find true abundance, I think that we have to take action, and we have to manifest wonderful things in our lives, and form connections. Because for me, at least, abundance isn't just dollar signs. Abundance is also having a full and rich life, living our full potential.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. For me, the money is a side. It allows me to do that. And I think that's the thing. I think I have a lot of conversations with women about, you know, how do you earn income online? And, you know, it's not all about dollars and things like that. And it's like, because obviously all they hear is get rich quick. Yeah. It's like, no, it's not about that for me. For me, it was about creating a bit of time freedom to do the things that I really loved. And it's like, it's about allowing yourself, whatever way, to create the lifestyle and allow you to be you. And I think with women, it's generally, you know, they give back to the community. They start to do other things if they've got time on their hands. And that's what I love about creating a lifestyle business more so.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And my lifestyle probably isn't a typical one, because not everybody does, you know,
sings and dances on stage.
What was that?
Sings and dances on stage, definitely not.
Yes, on stage. I do adore doing that. It's so much fun. But I was raised in the theater, so for me, that was one of the gifts that was naturally granted to me by my mother, who, whenever they needed a kid, they shoved me out on stage. So I have zero fear. I love to have an audience. I am just as chill in this living room as I am in front of a couple thousand people, talking in front of them, or acting, or belting out a song. But that's who I am. And I think that people really need to start to explore who they are, because we all have gifts. We all have something to give this world. And it might not be this cookie cutter mold of 9 to 5. Or however you are being told, or have been told in the past, you are supposed to live your life. It might not be for you, and might not fit your skill sets. So really, when I began vision boarding is really when the lifestyle that I needed started to come into focus. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and touching on that, can you touch on kind of what's the first starting step? If someone hasn't kind of, I mean, I come from a very practical background, so I'm very much a practical. I've been a loyal employee for a long time, and now I've shifted into this entrepreneurial world. I find it really fascinating to hear how people started to find their passion when they've been conditioned for so long. And I think that's a big shift for people. I talk to a lot of women entrepreneurs that go, but I just don't know what I want to do. So if you can kind of tap into that with your vision boarding, is how do they start maybe realizing what they're all about? That would be awesome.
So in Common Threads, one of the things that have come out of that is the chapter heading Shift Happens, because you know what, it does. Shift happens. It's going to happen in your life. If you're having a good life and you're having an abundant life, you're going to go through some type of shift in your life, and that could come very naturally from one transition of job to the next, or could be a house move, or someone could pass away, but shift does create a new way of looking at things. So for me, I've done a lot of different businesses. I've had an online educational business. I've had Inspiring Lives, which is a big umbrella corporation for all the different things that I'm doing. And I've even done the direct marketing stuff at one point in my life, because that's something that if you got that like eager personality, people are gonna be like, oh, how'd you sell this? So and I'm now currently morphing into another online business, which will be announced here in the fall. But I think that you have to keep your mind open to the possibilities. For me, with the vision boarding, like it really literally came from just taking a magazine, and we've got Oprah here. It came from taking
role models. That's perfect.
It came from looking through magazines and saying, oh my gosh, that's what I want. That's what I want to create this in my life. And cutting them out and putting them on a piece of poster board. And that is like the simplest, cheapest way to really start to feel out who you want to become, and the parts of yourself that you've always loved. I mean, I think back to when I was a little girl, and that's another really good thing to do, is to think back to when you were a child. Like I remember taking my mother's hat. She had this huge wide-brimmed black hat with sequins on it and some rosettes up here, and it was for her costumes for her theater. And I took that hat one day, and I must have been like in 3rd or 4th grade. So here's my daughter, so you can kind of, she's my mini me. So this is my Alyssa. So I looked about like this, okay? So I took this huge wide-brimmed hat one day, and I put it on my head, and I grabbed all my quarters that I had saved up, and I walked. For me, forever. Like it felt like forever because I was a little girl. But I walked and walked and walked with this huge wide-brimmed hat, probably some kid outfit, and I sat in a cafe that I thought of as a cafe, and I sat there and I drank my tea, and I imagined being a writer in Paris someday. And I remember just looking over the wide-brimmed hat and thinking that I was it. Like I had it going on. But of course, I was a little girl in a Jewish deli in Akron, Ohio at the time. So, but now I look here at my vision board. Let's see, I got here on my vision board. I put, let's see, where's Paris? Paris. I put Paris right up there because I realized that since I was that little girl, I wanted to go to Paris, and I wanted to be that writer in Paris. And now, in less than 2 weeks, I fly off to Paris, and I get to do penning in Paris with other women authors from around the globe. And that's something that I've truly manifested, and that I'm very thrilled to have made happen in my life. And it comes quite easily when you're in the right mindset. So that's a little manifesting I did from my childhood to now.
Awesome. Must have been an awesome feeling knowing it's all come together. It's like so exciting when you see something like that, isn't it? It's interesting. I was talking to Denise Duffield Thomas a few weeks ago about something like that, and she was talking about manifesting a house, because she was always about buying it, and and some people get bogged down with that. And it's like you said, if you just actually vision what you want. She actually ended up, the first one, she ended up renting, because it didn't matter. What she wanted to do was live there for the lifestyle. And when she stopped worrying about how she got there and actually just worried about what she wanted and got clear on what she wanted, then it came about, because then it's like come about in a different way, but she still got there in the end. And I think that's really powerful, is just, vision boarding. I think we're very visual creatures. You always say to someone, what does your car look like? And they can reel it off in seconds. And it's like, so we are very visual creatures as a natural. And I think, vision boarding is just one of the most powerful things you could do. and have it somewhere you can see it all the time. I put up, like, I have checks above my bed. I have my vision for next year's check above my bed, so every time I wake up in the morning I lay there and look at my check, because it was my target of where I wanted to be. So I have all these different visions everywhere I go around my house. I have different visions in different rooms. I won't tell you which one's up in the bathroom, but anyway. You have to go there when you don't have a partner, you know. He looks good. So so if someone hasn't done a vision board before, I mean, obviously you cut out things. Is there anything else specific you look for when you create your vision board? Obviously, I know you go through magazines and really kind of inspire.
Absolutely. So I think that you really want to tap into who you want to become. I'm looking down at mine here. I tend to do it in different parts of lifestyle. I look at the travel that I want to do. I look at who I want to become. Like, okay, so for instance, the modeling thing, okay? So it's very unusual for a woman in her 40s, I just turned 40 this past year, to be to be rocking the runway. But I have done, oh my God, 30, 40 runway shows. And almost all of them have given back to amazing charities. We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charities, from breast cancer research to, oh my goodness, the Pittsburgh Zoo, to children with special needs. But I have become sort of this go-to model for these different events and print work as well.
Is that because they don't have to pay you, Shellie?
No.
Sorry, I just had to say that. See, Aussie sense of humour. Apologies.
No, I think it's because I bring a unique sense of sassiness to the runway. and
of course.
I'm a storyteller by nature, and so I tell a story to match the clothes or to match the atmosphere, and I can bring it, even at 40.
No, I follow. There's one other girl I used to work some online with, and she's a Russian girl, and she's just hit 40, and she's always modeling something, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's like, you just look amazing. It's inspiring. It really is inspiring. It doesn't matter what your age you are, just get out there and do it. If you love it, do it. Absolutely. And you know, you do it for a good cause now. I know you do. I'm just lining you up.
I understand completely. And one of the things I'll be doing in Paris is we're doing a magazine spread, and it's going to be in front of a castle in Paris, and I have a gorgeous Portia Brady gown that she's making that she's actually calling the Shellie. So I'm like, hello, I got it.
Awesome. You are very photogenic. Your website shows that. You're extremely photogenic. So I look forward to seeing that. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you. It's been a real joy. But I think that there are women that are out there that are thinking maybe they don't think they could be a model. You don't have to be. Honey, you don't have to be. You need to be who you are on the inside and let it shine. Your potential is inside, and you just need to show the world that. And right now, in this day and age, with all the different ways that you can get your message out there, with all the different ways that you can get your whatever it is that you are trying to impart to the world, you can do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big part of my mission and my vision is very much like, just be you. You know, I used to get scared of being behind the camera. You know, I'm a curvy girl, and you know, who wants to get behind the camera and add 10 pounds, you know? But actually, I love it. And it's just like, it's really interesting that, you know, people can either love you. I've come from a sales background for 10 years, and the simple thing is people are going to love you, hate you, or they're going to be non-despondent. So it doesn't matter. Just get out there and be you, because if people are going to gel with you, they're going to gel with you no matter what you look like, what you do, who you are. It's just about being authentic and being yourself. So, and I love that, yeah, it's like you said, not everyone has to be a stage show host from, 4 or 5, to do what they love. And that's really powerful message, because, yeah, they would look at you sometimes and go, oh, I can't be like her, I've not been on stage or whatever. And it's really powerful you're sharing that message. It's not about that. And I know you do a lot of work with your charity work with young girls, don't you, in relation to bringing them out. Do you want to talk about that just for a sec? I know it's quite slightly off the track, but... No. Empowering younger women, I think it's really powerful.
Yes. So I worked with Hasina and Shashima out of South Africa, and I Skype into their power circles there, and it's been a really a great joy for me to be able to inspire these young women to be their best selves. And of course, I mean, I've been a teacher for most of my career, so also working with people here in the United States has been a great joy. I've been an education professor for the last decade, and then before that I was a teacher and I was an assistant principal of a school. So for me, it's like I look back and I think of, it's almost like branches of a tree that the mentor or whoever is leading is the trunk, but now it's branching out, and then all these leaves all around the world are growing, and for me, that's just such a humbling, wonderful thing to know that they are becoming their best selves. And I've got success stories from around the world from these young women and older women that they're just blossoming, and it's so exciting for me.
And if someone wants to kind of start maybe to incorporate more charity work or to get involved with something like that, can you recommend how someone gets started doing that if they've got no connections with charity already?
Absolutely.
What's the best way to get involved?
For me, I'm on the advisory board for the Homeless Children's Education Fund, and that's been my #1 charity right now. But I also work with There's No Limit Foundation and other foundations, Treasure House Fashions, which works with women who are in need. They've worked with 10,000 women who are in need. So I work with a bunch of charities. But what I would say is that you're really going to have to delve down into who you are first. Decide what your skill sets are that you can lend to them and what your passion is. Because if your passion is puppy dogs, then going into a homeless shelter probably isn't going to fit your purpose or your passion at all. I think that if you love a puppy dog licking on you and doing all that stuff, you go to a shelter for dogs, or you work with a charity that works with animals. So it all depends on who you are. In this day and age, you Google it. You Google and you find that charity that's close to you, close to your heart, and then you make contact. You find out how you can help, and you put yourself out there. I've been volunteering since I was a very young child, because it's something that we do in my family. It's just something that I grew up with. I worked with AIDS patients when I was a little kid, because my father was a medical doctor and my mother ran the theater, and at that time a lot of gay gentlemen were passing away from AIDS, and it was like, whoa, what are we going to do? So we went in and we helped, and we made the turkey dinner, and we did whatever they needed us to do to help brighten up their day, and that's where it began. So you just reach out, and with the internet, you can go on Facebook and find a million charities that need your help. I'd be delighted to have you.
I like the way that you connect with your passion, because I think that's really important, isn't it? It's like, find out who you're about first, and yeah, and that's kind of what I'm on. I'm on exploratory. You know, someone always seems to have a story about a charity, and I was involved a lot when I was younger, but kind of the last 4 or 5 years it slipped away. So for me, I'm very much on a mission this year to decide on what I'm going to do next year. It's going to be my big support thing next year. So, and it is finding about what you love or what really kind of pulls your heartstrings. It's like, you know, what would you not want to be in, or what have you been through in your struggle that maybe you want to now support other people out of that struggle? It's really interesting. So I've got an awesome question here. I just got text messages saying can't type it, but I want to text her. Thanks to Angela for listening. So one of hers is, what is one of the best tips for finding empowering women and how to add them to your circle? So how to connect with them?
Fantastic question, Angela. I love that.
Thanks, Angela.
That's great. So for Angela, what I would do right now is I would go on Facebook and Facebook me.
Stalk Shellie.
Yeah, stalk me. No, please don't. Oh no.
You sold it now. That's it. We're done. That's it. Everyone's gonna stalk Shellie.
No, but for me, it's really a blessing to be able to connect all these women around the world, and the best way for me has been to really get to know these ladies and then connect them with different people. And Henna Gul out of Pakistan, she's the one who termed this global sisterhood that I've created, because she said that, you know, she feels like she has sisters all over the world now because we all connect. So yeah, please Facebook me. There are tons of places online particularly through social media paths that you can find them, or go out and network wherever you live. Where does Angela live? Do we know? Does she live
out of London, Milton Keynes? So
out
she's
of London?
UK based.
Well, I have some really amazing, empowering women to connect her with. So, yeah, please.
She's already connected to me, by the way. Just
Awesome.
obviously.
But like Annie Ogren is there. She created the Izzy bag line, and she's fantastic. She would love.
Sorry, can you just? I missed that.
Oh, Izzy. Annie Ogren is out of London, and she just recently moved back there, so she would love to connect with you. I'm sure she's an empowering woman. She has been she has a handbag line that's done really well internationally. So if Angela's also an entrepreneur, then they would be a wonderful connection. But I tend to just. Can you still hear me? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I muted myself.
Oh. Anyway, so there are many women out there that are probably thinking the same thing. How can I connect with Angela? So let's make that happen.
And Angela's really powerful because she's just starting her journey around. She's one of the most amazing gluten-free cooking specialists I've known, and she cooks these glorious cakes. So she's now getting into specialty around gluten-free cakes and stuff. So I love what Angela's about to journey on, because she's just starting her journey around how can she incorporate that into a business and a passion. She's finally found what she loves to do. So yeah.
So I also have a friend who is very big in the cooking world, who's been on things like Rachel Ray and all these other different things. She is the founder of Crockpot Moms, and she would probably be a fantastic connection in the States for Angela, because they could get gluten-free. So let's make these connections happen.
See, this is just so powerful, isn't it? Because this is what it's all about with women entrepreneurs. I think the key thing for me out of that question is become a connector yourself. Is start to think about, like, you know, I mean, I got connected, obviously. I've known Jessica for a while online, and Jessica and I have never met. And then Jessica was like, oh, you've got to meet Shellie. Shellie's this, you know, amazing, inspiring women about women entrepreneurs. And, you know, she's going around globally writing this book. And I was like, oh, God, she's an inspiration to what I do. And I think that is the most powerful thing I think women do so well. I think in a different way to men. It's like you said, men have their old boys club and their golf club, and they do what they do, and, you know, no disrespect to any of them, but I think women have really come into their own with the internet, because we can connect so quickly.
There's no boundaries here. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you in the UK, and there's women that are listening all over the world. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. So there you go. We've got a connection for Angela. So thanks for the question, Angela. If anyone else has got any questions, you can either put it on the Facebook chat if we haven't got it on the events page. If you can't log in, just chuck it in there and I'll quickly check that as well. And if not, below, do ask the questions. But the other thing you mentioned when we were talking about kind of what you wanted to talk about was attracting positive energy while networking. I think that might be a great time to kind of talk about that, given we're talking about connecting.
Absolutely. So I have definitely found that different people have different energy when they come into a room. Some people, and I don't think it matters if you're an introvert or an extrovert, but I think that you do need to bring those positive vibes with you wherever you go. It can be hard sometimes. I mean, especially if you are a busy mom and you're juggling things, or you're a busy, you know, businesswoman, and the life balance. And then when you're walking into a room, or when you're connecting on Facebook, or however you network best. But I think keeping the positive vibrations and the positive energy is a very important thing to do. My assistant, Brittany Ann, she's amazing. And we have been traveling from New York to LA, and we're going to be in Paris in 2 weeks. And she really has become my vibrational accountability partner, is what we call her. She knows when I am like, you know, like when you're like, sometimes you're like, yeah, let's do this, okay. And then there's other times when you're just going down on a slope and you're like, oh God, how am I gonna do this again? But she brings me back up, and I do the same for her. And I think that it's really good to have accountability partners or people in your life that can kind of monitor where you're at with your moods and how you are, and bring you back up. We should all be able to bring each other back up, because while it's a very internal and intrinsic thing to bring yourself back up, it is so wonderful to have a sister or a friend help build you back up again too.
Yeah, I talk a lot about the power of masterminding and being around a support group. And that's taken me, I know, leaps and bounds in my business, having the right people around you to bounce ideas off as well. If you're stuck on something, you've always got someone to kind of go, God, I can't get past this in my own head. What do I do? And yeah, the inspiration. And I have to say, Josette asked exactly the same question. So Josette said, yes, being a vibrational match, of course.
Nice.
So, and Lisa mentioned about talking about your experience of volunteering and inspiring lives. And I think you've got into a little bit about that. But do you want to maybe, is there one project or something specific you want to talk about with your volunteering at the moment? Or
absolutely.
Please, yeah, I'd love you to share.
One of my favorite things to do is we do these mommy makeovers. We go into a local homeless shelter for single mothers that are in housing transition. And we have brought a whole like treatments for these ladies. Like we bring Alive and Spa to come out, and they give them haircuts. Some of them haven't had haircuts in forever. They do their makeup. They make them feel like $1 million. And Treasure House Fashion, Sally Power there with Treasure House Fashions. I said that she works with 60 charities and over 10,000 women. She brings in a whole rack of clothing, and we get them dressed from head to toe. The last time we did it was really special because we also cleaned up their living space and made it really beautiful. We painted. But the thing that was really impactful and powerful was then we did family portraits with the mothers and the kiddos. And that was fantastic because they were able to visualize and see then who their family could become. Like we're talking about having that vision, and until they could see that, they didn't realize it. I had one woman take my hand, and she was crying, and she, you know, just crying off her pretty makeup. She got this new makeover, and she said, Shellie, I'm damaged. And they said, honey, you're not damaged. I said, you know, look at yourself. Look, you can do this. We can get you back on the right track. And she had a pregnant belly. She was beautiful, but she had a pregnant belly and a toddler running around the homeless shelter. But she just didn't see a way out until she saw those visuals, the photographs, the family photographs that we had taken for them, which she never would have been able to have because she can't like go to a local department store and have them taken or anything. So she had these beautiful portraits made, and now she has a wonderful sustainable job at a local store, and she's got an apartment for her and her babies, and she's doing great. So yeah,
that's just so inspiring. It must be so powerful seeing that transformation.
It's incredible. It really is incredible, and it's a blessing to be able to do this stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? And again, I know I harp on about women. I'm sorry, guys. I'm definitely not anti-men, but I do love how much women give back. And, you know, it's little things like that is really striving to empower other women to get out there. But what a powerful vision. I hadn't, you know, even you don't think about the simplest things. But that is such a powerful story about the simplest thing, just looking and feeling good. Yeah. Can just change your whole persona.
If you can't envision it, how are you supposed to make it happen? How are you supposed to manifest it? But then once she was in that whole, you know, she was in the different clothes and she had the makeup on and she had somebody to hold her hand and say, look, you can do this. You can be whoever you want to be. And that was huge.
That's just amazing. And in relation to your book, do you want to talk about a little bit about your Empowering Radio? Because we haven't really touched that much on your book.
Absolutely. So
what are you doing?
To watch old episodes of Inspiring Lives with Dr. Shellie, which brought in women and men actually for that. Those were all people who conquered obstacles in their life and went on to help others. Those are archived at www.shelliehipsky.com. And then you can also, there's a pathway there to go to Empowering Women Radio. We're almost at 100 women on there, and I'm creating this book based on it, with 13 different secrets to success for these different women. Really looking at a woman in Africa that's doing an entrepreneurial venture versus a woman here in the States, maybe in Hollywood, because we went to Hollywood and stayed at the Roosevelt Hotel and did poolside interviews. So we've just sort of done the gamut there of what success means to women, and what's that commonality, what's making us all tick and get out there and balancing it all.
It must be really interesting to look at the contrast in environments, and then kind of strip away that environment to a certain degree and really get down to what makes a difference, and like you said, empowering women to do that. That just, fascinating. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very fascinating story.
It's exciting work.
And one last thing, because I know obviously you have 2 beautiful children, and you talked about how to juggle a successful business while raising a family, and I think that's really, really powerful for my audience, especially because I talk about, obviously, a lot about creating a lifestyle business, and people jump in and immediately think, oh, laptop, got to be on a beach somewhere, and it's not. It's about creating a lifestyle, business that fits around your life instead of the other way around. So for you, obviously, it's juggling your kids. So any sort of hints and tips on how to juggle your business and how you, especially your travel and everything you do? Because you must be so busy. It must be crazy.
I am insanely busy, but I love it, and my kids love it. And my daughter, when these shirts came in, she was the first one to be like, "Hey, Mom, got to get them out to these people. Let's get the addresses." She's a little planner. She's a little doer. So she's helped me with that. She's gone to the shelters with me, the homeless shelters, and she's been right by my side reading to the, she's just learning to read, and she sits down and reads to the babies or holds them, and so really bringing my children along for the ride has been good. Technology's amazing. I was able to, you can push a kiddo on the swing and do a little phone call at the same time.
That's really juggling that.
Oh, honey, you have no idea. The juggling that I have to do to keep it all together is insane. But it works, and I've been able to be at the T-ball games for Jacob and still be able to get things done. So I think it's all about finding that balance. I also seem to feed the neighborhood kids a lot. I tend to have about 10 to 12 kids here very often for dinner time. So they just tend to show up, and I seem to be the fun house, and I feed them all, and they go out and play. So yeah, it's a juggling act, absolutely, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think that, yes, my lifestyle has afforded me to be able to travel the world and do some amazing things. But my kids experience things that other children probably wouldn't be able to, and that's a great joy for me, to see them out there volunteering, or to be able to see different parts of the world that other kids might not be able to, and reflect on that and in a positive way on their future life, and heck, what my grandbabies are going to be like down the road. I think it's all very intergenerational. I mean, I look at how my parents raised me, and my mother was able to have a theater at night, and while she was there when I got home from school, and she would go run the theater once we were in bed. And so yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to juggle it, no matter what that looks like. And it doesn't have to be on a beach. It's nice when it's on a beach, but it's not always on a beach.
Well, I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? It is about creating a lifestyle that, allows you to do these things you're passionate about. And, it is fascinating. I can imagine what your kids are going to grow up like, because they're just exposed to so much. I mean, so many people get bogged down in that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
They go to work, they come home, they eat, they sit down, they might watch a bit of TV, they go to bed, and you're like, oh my God, can you imagine how different your children are going to be, and the values behind them? Because, anything to do with volunteering, travel, they just get so much. I mean, I think the biggest thing that changed my life was travel. You know, I come from Australia. I grew up in a very small country town, and when I started traveling, I started to go, oh my God, there's so much more out here. You know, you get to see and experience different cultures and what people go through in their lives, and you know, you can't take that back. That's an experience, and I think that you can never get that through school or whatever through education. So exposing your kids to things like this at a young age, I think, is one of the most amazing things, and that's what I get so passionate about, creating a lifestyle. Because you can do. I've got friends that live in Panama at the moment with her young daughter, and you know, they surf every day. You know, they go down the beach every day. You know, and I'm sure she thinks, what does mum and dad do? Because they live on their laptops. But the experience that she's having with those different cultures and you know, living in those different lifestyles and seeing how other people live, you know, she's going to be a very, very enriched child when she grows up with the appreciation. And I think you can't take that back.
No, you can't. And even my daughter, with, you know, we Skype to South Africa, and she has her little friends in South Africa that she communicates with, and you know, they take the iPad and they walk around, they show each other their bedrooms and how they're different but how they're the same, and it's just a really neat way of being able to show your children the world. And when I said that, I spoke to a huge room of Girl Scouts, hundreds of little girls, and I was talking about this connection that my daughter had with this other girl in South Africa, and they're just like, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that that's even something that could happen. It almost sounds like sci-fi to some of these kids, even though they're living the same time period as my children are. So I think it's good. I think it's eye-opening, and I think that whenever you can kind of open that door to the world, it's a positive thing.
So I guess one thing for me is, what's one or two steps that you would take if you become more, I guess we will talk about empowering women tonight, but if you want to become a bit more empowered in your life, yes. And even if you've got a successful business or you're running your own business at the moment, what would you do? What's one or two things you would do today or get people to start?
If I wanted to become more empowered, I would make sure that I had a social media presence, definitely. I would make sure that I knew myself inside and out. I went through a divorce a few years ago, and I really had to date myself. I feel like I had to be comfortable with becoming, you know, being alone but finding out who I was. And sometimes it means reinvention. Sometimes it means transition. And I think that can be very empowering for people. So to figure it out, go on a date with yourself. Take yourself out to dinner, or get a nice white tablecloth, you know, and nice glass of wine, and just think about, you know, who you want to become. I think that that's a very powerful thing, empowering thing for a woman to do. Let's see, one more thing. I would, if I were you, I would heed what everybody was saying about volunteering. I would find that charity that can open up your eyes to what the rest of the world is doing, because not only do you want to become self-reflective, but you also want to be giving back and helping other people, because that is really going to open up your heart and your mind, and giving back is just such a powerful thing, paying it forward. So get out there, pay it forward, date yourself, and have a great day.
Apparently, according to Lisa, it wasn't about going to the beach. It was about your local community projects and delivering toys.
Oh, Lisa!
She's obviously very passionate about what you do. You have a very strong follower there, which is just amazing, isn't it? You've obviously touched her life, which is awesome.
I love Lisa Lanigan. Oh my God, I love you, sweetheart. She calls me her fairy godmother. So yeah,
she said that. Yeah. But I guess it is just getting involved. Like you said, you obviously get involved and give back a lot, and I think that's really empowering for anyone to do.
I do, and it was this last toy drive we did. It was around Christmas time, and we went to. We not only went to the homeless shelter and gave tons of toys, an amazing amount of toys, but then we also went into the projects, and in the States, the projects are very almost heartbreaking places to go into to see. I mean, some of these women had really gotten off of their, gotten on their own 2 feet and done incredible things. But going into sometimes these rooms with no lights and no Christmas tree and no anything, and giving these babies toys. And I remember there was this one, I'm gonna get teared up, Lisa.
Lisa's fault.
But so yeah, there was this little baby boy that he was just crying, and I had to pick him up, and I just loved on him and gave him a bottle and just, you know, rocked him on my hip. And while the other elves, we call them, gave out these Christmas toys to the babies that were there. But oh man, that little guy, he just got my heart. So Lisa, you are watching this, and you are one of the most amazing women I've ever met in my entire life. You've been through so much. You're an incredible woman. She has been through outrageous tragedies and has triumphed over all of them. I was honored to give her the humanitarian award at my Fabulous 40s fundraiser, because she's just incredible. She's worked for 18 years with the homeless single mother population, and she's absolutely a godsend to this earth. So she's
amazing. Oh, well, thank you, Lisa, for getting her to share that. But I think, yeah, I know Christmas time brings out a lot. I haven't had much time to do a lot of charity work, but I always do the Christmas. We do one where we do Christmas baskets. They have a fund over here. I think originally it might have been a Tony Robbins thing in the US. Oh, okay. And they've done something similar over here, and they always give out Christmas baskets to people that are struggling, and it's always like food, so it's like a chicken and vegetables and a Christmas pudding and all that sort of stuff. But the one that touched me was actually going around to a lot of the older places where, obviously the elderly generation, they're alone, they don't have any family, and some of the houses that they were living in, the conditions was really sad. It was like the homeless have forgotten the aged population a lot as well. So that's one that touches my heart. I'm steering slightly towards as we go, even though I love to inspire. So it's a catch-22, isn't it?
Yes.
It's inspiring the younger generation to make a shift, and helping out the older generation survive, I think.
Absolutely. Everybody needs a little boost every once in a while. Even the people that are leading the charge can use a little boost, like Lisa just did for me by bringing up that memory. So thank you, Lisa.
I think that's the other thing, though, too, isn't it? We forget, like, just because we're empowered, I get that a lot, I think, because just because you're a confident and empowered woman doesn't mean you don't need someone to turn around and say, oh, it's really lovely to be around you, or, you're just amazing. Everyone needs that slight bit of support, don't they? And tends to be, I think, sometimes the out-confident spoken women that tend to get forgotten a lot because they think they don't need it.
Absolutely.
So a big hug to you, then. Big hug from the UK.
I'm such a hugger. That's a great thing.
Yeah, there you go. Big hug from the UK for sharing the love. And you are, because you're sharing your time and value. So hopefully we've inspired a few people to kind of, I think the key thing for me, having people like you on my show, is to look at different angles of their business. How can you bring in charity to your business? Are we doing enough as women entrepreneurs? And, there is a big movement, and I can see it everywhere. It's really weird. I kind of see the shift over the last year. There's some amazing big projects going on, isn't there, with women entrepreneurs who are joining together. Dr. Joanna Martin's got one here, and she might be awesome for you to connect with. Do you know Joanna Martin?
I don't yet, no.
I think a big connection for you, because she's running the One Woman Conference here, and she's also all about empowering women to do volunteer projects over the last years moving forward. So I'll do an introduction for that. There you go, another introduction. I hadn't thought about her, but and it's really inspiring seeing women like you just create leadership for, I think, leaders are ready to come together. I think there's a lot of women leaders out there, but they just don't have that quiet, where do we go next? And I think people like you bring that where do we go next to really make an impact. We're making an impact in our businesses and our lives, but how do we do it in others? And I wish you all luck with your book. I can't wait. So is there a way, what can we do to support you? How can our community support you, help you, connect with you? What's your next project, or what do you need?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'm toying around, playing around with this concept, and I have not made the big announcement yet. But maybe we can. I can be like a.
Can we let out a secret?
Let out So
we won't tell it. We won't tell anyone.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're looking at creating the Global Sisterhood Collection, which would be an online marketplace that would bring women entrepreneurs together to highlight their number one thing that they want to get out to the women of the world. And so if you are a woman who has a product out there, please get in contact with me. Facebook is probably the best way to get in contact with me. We've already got incredible pieces from Africa and Pakistan and just all over the globe coming in, and different ideas being thrown around, and I'm working with different people that are in different retail spaces. So if you want to connect with me, that would be fantastic, because I would really love to see a marketplace, a platform where we can all go and support women charities and just support each other as women entrepreneurs, and do some highlighting of who these women are behind the scenes. I think that'll be a fantastic next steps for empowering women.
And can we do that if we provide services as well? Can we give up time and our service and our knowledge and things like that? Yep.
People have been asking about that. So the Global Sisterhood Collection will probably be that, and then there may be some sort of a Global Sisterhood like concierge program. So this is all very malleable and very much happening on the fly with different women entrepreneurs connecting with me. But this may be the way to sort of spearhead it, Kylie. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about that with other ladies.
No, awesome. Amazing idea, and I think that, you know, that comes with my passion of masterminding, I guess, in a way, because I love sharing ideas and concepts, and I think, you know, I've always said one head's better than, you know, many heads are better than one, because it is about that. It's like you said, if you can bring a product or a service, or, you know, you can support other people around the world in different ways, you know, it does make a difference to people's lives, doesn't it? It impacts them massively. Like an hour of your time and advice may just help someone completely transform their life. So, oh God, yeah, definitely. And I've thought of a couple of other connections for you in the UK. Let's build your UK base. Yay, let's get you in the UK.
Yeah,
what's this Paris stuff? Why don't you not come to London and said, excuse me, hello, why Paris? Why Paris and not London?
You remember
appalling.
I'll do that big conference. We'll talk.
Yeah, I think we need to get you into London instead. It's very rude that you've left London out. It's appalling. I'll tell Jessica that as well.
Okay,
About to come to London.
Literally.
Awesome. So, okay, one thing. I always ask people, because we are just about the hour, and I don't think I have any other live questions, not that I can see. Hopefully I haven't missed any. Oh, hang on, we've got one from Josette. Giving back, should it be mostly related to your business, or can it be something completely different?
Oh, absolutely, can be something completely different. It's whatever you need it to be, Josette. It needs to be what you need it to be. So if you want to connect it with your business, it can even be something that's not necessarily considered relevant. Who would think that me belting out, hey, big spender, is going to help a charity, and then that in turn is going to help my business? You never know where these connections are going to go, but if you lead with your heart and you do the right thing, magic's going to happen. And I can't wait to hear what happens, because you're going to Facebook me now and you're going to tell me, Josette. And then we're going to go from there, and I'm going to be so proud of you.
But I think that's the thing, is like you said, it's to what you said before, isn't it? Touching base on what you feel you can give. Yeah. And start to think about how you can use that. So, you know, if you're a great connector and you've just got lots of connections, maybe you can provide that to a charity to create connections. You know, do they need introductions to people and things like that? So it's always looking at your strengths, isn't it, and how you might support them. So yeah, that's really powerful. Oh, I'm so excited. You've got me really thinking now. My brain's going 100 to 1, going, oh, what can I do? Because I've been toying it. You know, I'm a big believer, and I kind of did the hard way and left work too early and struggled a bit. So it's like I'm just finding my feet. So it's like now I'm finding my feet. It's like, okay, now let's give back. Because I'm a big believer in, you know, you've got to support yourself before you can support others. And unfortunately, a lot of women entrepreneurs do that the wrong way around. They support lots of other stuff first before they get in a position of strength and power. And I think that, you know, that for me is a real empowering thing. If you're not in an empowered position, it's very hard to get out there and empower others. So yeah, but my closing question I always ask everyone, because it's always for me about creating a lifestyle business. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What's one thing that you love about your lifestyle as it is now, and what's one thing we can see maybe in the future that's going to be added to yours in the next 3 or 5 years?
Oh. People that are watching this that are my good friends are thinking, ooh, I wonder if she's going to say X, Y, and Z. Okay, so what do I love about my lifestyle now? I love
we want honesty. Yeah. We want all the secrets out today. We're getting all the secrets out. This is good.
What do I love about my lifestyle? I love that I have time with my children. I love that I can incorporate them in. I love that I can travel the world, and I can give back to my global sisterhood and just keep creating and being me, and it's amazing to me that being me can have so much impact on other people. So I really think that if you tap into who you authentically are, you're going to go places too. If you're not feeling like you are, because you know, being me wasn't always the greatest, but now I can tap in and do fantastic fun things.
And before you go on to the next 3 or 5 years, can I ask you one sort of practical question? Because obviously a lot of your business seems to be, obviously it's about live radio, it's about shows, it's about charity. How do you monetize? What's one way that you monetize your business?
That's a great question.
Because you don't have the traditional model of a business. So what's one way you monetize your business?
One way that I monetized was through crowdfunding, because I have such an amazing network of people around the globe. And I recently did a huge Kickstarter campaign and raised an exorbitant amount of money for empowering women and for all these projects that I take on in a very short period of time, in less than a month. And we just knocked it out of the park. And it's because I have these incredible friends that came to me and said, we need you to be to let us help you make money out of this. Sabrina in Florida said, you know, it's time to monetize this for yourself. And she said, put it up on a crowdfunding and we will come, we will help support you. And they did amazingly, absolutely amazingly. So I am a full-time professor. I have kept that position for the last decade. I have gone through promotion after promotion. So for me, that's been a way that, because, oh my gosh, and I don't want to have anybody that's a coach that's out there feel like they shouldn't be a coach. It's a beautiful thing, and I use a coach. I have a business coach. It's amazing. But for me personally, as a teacher and as a professor and as a mentor and as a friend, I never wanted to charge people for the talking service, you know, the help. And that always amazes my friends when I'm not like, okay, go to my PayPal now and pay and we can talk further. So I guess for me, that's a part of my lifestyle that I really appreciate, that I have never been in that position where I had to charge friends to give them advice and to help them reach that next level. I just get to reach back and help pull my friends up, so we're all doing it together.
That's really powerful, because again, it's just a different business model, isn't it? And I think that's even, you know, and it's a business model that fits with your lifestyle. And I think that's what I love about the show. Every time I interview someone, I get something different. You know, and it is about that. It's not, you don't have to have a traditional, like you said, coaching business, and you know, that's one model. And if that model works for you, fantastic. Like, I'm not a natural coach. I'm too outspoken and I'm too vocal. I couldn't see myself ever as a coach, because you're meant to just sit back and ask questions, and as you can see, I don't. So I could never be a traditional coach. So I'm looking at ways to model my business to suit me. So, you know, for me, it's about masterminding. So I want to create a global mastermind for myself. That's my
awesome.
Next step.
I'd love to be able to. I love mastermind.
Women entrepreneurs in, and that for me is going to be an income, but it's also going to be a powerful business tool. But it is like that. So I'm so glad I asked that question now, because a lot of people don't think about raising funds for their projects that they're doing, or you know, I talk about sponsorship for shows like this. You know, I have another friend that I model, and I modeled her show to get where I am, and you know, she has regular monthly sponsorships for her show. And I said, oh, so you don't have to sell your services? She said, no, because she gets paid sponsorship for her show. Right. She doesn't. So there's many different models out there. And so crowdfunding, perfect. So if anyone's looking at maybe starting a charity element to their business, or something that's very empowering, I suppose it'd have to be very inspiring, I would think, to get through for crowdfunding. Yes, absolutely. It has to be something that people can kind of wrap their heads around, get excited about, and everybody wants to be a part of it. So you have to create an ownership piece in their heart. So they have to feel a part of it. And I'm very blessed to have so many people, over 100 people that went on and donated over 13 grand within days for this project. I'm amazed you're not sitting at the beach then. I said, I'm amazed you're not sitting at the beach then. Oops. Oh, sorry, it wasn't for my holiday. Yeah, sorry, it wasn't about the holiday. Darn, I forgot that. I'll be at the later in the year. Obviously, you have to go to a beautiful destination to film something or do something. I'm sure there has to be an element there. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Awesome. So crowdfunding, fantastic. Another element that we haven't considered on the show, so perfect. And so where are we going to see Dr. Shellie Hipsky in the next 3 or 5 years? What's one big thing? Oh, man. I presume running your project by the sound of it. My best friend always says, I never know what you're going to be doing next, but I always know it's going to be something fabulous. So 3 to 5 years out, there's a lot going on. I definitely see the Global Sisterhood Collection coming together. It's on my vision board. Ladies, if you would like to help me get to here, New York, here, I'm going to pull it off here. This is my goal. This is my dream. New York Times best-selling author. That is my dream, common thread. So if I could get to that goal, that would be amazing. So I would love to have that on my resume, and just doing whatever I can do to help the women of the world. So those are coming at me at lightning speed, and I just hope to pick the right opportunities and help as many as I can. Awesome. And obviously a trip to London. I'm just going to So we're going to make that happen. We're going to put that in the vision. Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, right when we get off here, I'm putting London up on this vision board for sure. Yes, please. Can you put Big Ben or something up there so you can get the vision of being here? Big Ben, Eileen and Annie and all these other people that are in London that want to see Vanessa. That's it, definitely powerful. That is just the most amazing. Is there anything else you want to add before we close? No. What's the way people can connect with you? Obviously on Facebook. Is there anything else? So Instagram is Dr. Shellie. Twitter is EmpowerW Radio. Really, you want to go probably through ShellieHipsky.com just because that's the easiest way to figure out where everything is. Email, they can always email me. I'm not as good at emails though because all my students email me. So I would go through ShellieHipsky.com. Awesome. And I know on your website, obviously, there's a lot about your Empowering Women Radio and nominating people and all that. So to go and watch some of her videos, they're really powerful in relation to what she's up to and what she's doing. Because I know, because I've been sitting there watching them yesterday and today. So thank you, guys. Hopefully we've answered everyone's questions. If we haven't, let me know, and we will try and get them answered. If not, we'll drop messages and see what we can do. But it sounds like I think the majority of them have been answered anyway. So thank you so much for your time, Shellie. It's been absolutely awesome of you on here. And hopefully we've provided a bit more inspiration for women entrepreneurs out there to look at creative ways and inspire their lives. So thank you very much for your time. Well, Kylie, I just want to say real quick, thank you so much for interviewing me. It's very wonderful and humbling to be interviewed by somebody like yourself, and I appreciate it greatly. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Right, guys, we will see you next week. I've got another awesome show lined up, and we'll be in touch very shortly. Bye, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.